Hey there, Rhonda here, RK3 Designs, and I am in California, Indio, California, with my good friend Stacy. She and her husband have a business called Artisan Design Concepts, and they are killing it out here. So I'm going to hand it over to her and proceed.
Thank you, thank you. We're excited to have you out here. So today we're going to do two different versions of the same type of design. So Rhonda is going to do fantasy brown marble, and I'm going to do fantasy gray marble. So it's going to show you can get very similar looks, but if you want more of a brown countertop or a gray countertop, you can still achieve it with the same exact technique.
Yep.
So we're going to start off with our stone coat countertop epoxy. We've already pre-mixed it here. So we have our pearl mica powder, our white metallic mica powder, and then I have deep silver because I'm going for the silver or the gray version, deep silver mica powder.
And I'll blend a little bit of nutmeg in there to get kind of more of the brown tones on there. So,
and a little metallic champagne bronze as well for Rhonda's side. And we both have some aluminum in our cups. We're going to have from the Rust-Oleum side, we're using white. We're using charcoal gray, stone gray, and dark gray. That's more on my side, and Rhonda can pick and choose from the ones that she wants. So we're going to start by taking our either one, white or pearl, mixed with the mica, and we're going to just randomly put it on the board. No rhyme or reason, just lay it out. Get it on your board, get it on your surface.
Do we need to save any in our cup for later?
No.
Good.
You can use it all.
Get it on there.
Get it on there.
Okay.
Then you're going to take your white and you're going to lay that down just like you did with your pearl, but you're not going to intermix them. So you're going to pour around your pearl because when we start to blend them, we want them to blend but be able to see the different colors.
Kind of block it in.
And for me, I'm going to have to do one more step and get my silver in there. And now my gray or my silver is just going to overlap a little bit because I'm going for a darker version.
Yeah, I saw a picture of this and I told her this would be one of our videos. It's very, very elegant, very, very pretty, so caught my eye.
Thank you, thank you. All right, so we're just going to warm this up a little bit. All right, so we're going to blend this in just gently, making sure that we get our epoxy all over the board. Okay, but I'm not going to over blend, so I'm not trying to smear it together, just gently getting it covered. Don't forget your edges are bare.
No surface tension when we do start moving our epoxy around.
This design is really easy because all you have to do is really run we're going to run our spray paint through the epoxy using a stick. So there's not a whole bunch of mixing going on in advance. You're able to decide at that moment what you want to do. And we're going to take that aluminum spray paint that we already mixed and we're going to start our veins with it because it's light. So I don't know about you, but I sometimes aren't sure exactly where I want my vein to go and I want to see which way it's going to flow. So using a lighter color like that, just to kind of start my line, allows me to fix it if I don't quite want it to go where I put it.
Exactly. And I tell you what, this pearl next to this white gives such a pretty contrast, but it's not a contrast where it's just bold in your face contrast. It's really elegant, an elegant, classy, kind of timeless. All right. So you can see the difference between my piece and her piece. Same technique. She's just added one more layer of color, which is one more characteristic of what she's doing. But basically, we've done the exact same thing. So I've just kind of smoothed it out. I'm going to hit it with a little bit of heat.
Yeah.
Just a tiny bit.
I'm going to do the same thing.
A couple of bubbles coming up.
Thank you. And this is when you're not going to chop it out because you don't want to now just blend it back all together.
You could even make this right here nature of metallic is that you will, those metallic pieces will start to kind of fall down in the powder.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right, so we're going to take our aluminum that we've already mixed up and decide where we want to put your vein. So for this piece, I think I'm going to go in a diagonal for it.
Just kind of come over. Now you'll notice what we're doing is we're kind of starting off the board so that we don't have a big puddle like I just did right there. And we're just kind of letting it flow off. I think I'm going to branch mine off.
Yep. I love when you do that because that's what makes it look really natural.
I'm going to like branch mine off just a hair.
Yep, I love that.
And then I drop my brush. All right, then I think I'm going to come over here with a piece.
Yeah, I like to get some off the edges where it doesn't become a full vein. Right. It's just a little bit
of interest.
Yeah. And on a small sample board, of course, it's going to look busier than on a bigger board.
Right. When you take that to a bigger surface,
right,
you'll have a little bit more. All right.
So I'm going to reserve a little of my aluminum.
And I have a couple of drops where I kind of dropped it on there. So I'm just kind of taking my finger.
What I would like to do on this, after I start getting my vein where I want, I'll take my heat gun and move the epoxy that around inside. That'll kind of blend it, but once I get more of the color on the board. So you start with whatever color you like. I particularly like to start with my black, and then I end it with my black because I love the way that the black moves and melts with all the other colors. So what's your theory? What do you like to do?
I do the same thing. I like to start.
Do we have
I start with a neutral. Oh,
did we miss a black?
We did. I always like to add a black and a white, no matter what colors I'm doing, because it adds a little bit of depth and makes it look more natural.
And I'm actually going to lightly blend mine where my silver was a little bit stronger.
I could wake up my mica just a little bit if I wanted to do that. Since it's been sitting here for just a little bit, I just don't want to interrupt or over mix. I still want there to be definite areas where my pearl and my white micas touch.
Yeah. And I'm going to do that once we get to the heat gun. So you're going to take your spray paint and you're just going to spray it right on your stick. There you go. And we're going to start off the board and run it straight through your vein. Yeah. Now it doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to move this a gazillion different ways. And then I just go in whatever order that I feel like. So next I'm using charcoal gray.
And you noticed I barely used any paint. I sprayed my stick one time and I got all of that color into my design with the little bit of paint that was on there. So less is best in this finish.
Now I take a little of what I have on my brush or on my stick, and I'll move it and just kind of touch it.
Is this your gray?
This is my charcoal. Yeah.
I wasn't listening.
That's okay. You can do whatever order you want. Only because when I start to heat this, you want it to look like everything came from the same piece of marble or stone. So having a little tiny bit of it that flows into it looks more natural than just one individual vein.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to switch over and do a little stone gray on mine.
And I'm going to go for a little bit darker gray.
We have a dark gray right here.
Yep.
Now white will take over super fast. And so we're going to use the white. I use the white towards the end, personally.
Yes.
One of my favorites on that is when you get to the metallic champagne bronze. Anytime you add a metallic spray paint though, it is going to stay on top of your surface differently than the rest of it. As you see, when we start to blend everything in with a heat gun, everything's going to move, but your aluminum kind of stays put.
Yep.
But it leaves such a cool finish, and especially when the light hits it.
It just touches it. Now, I have a tendency also when I'm doing veins, sometimes I'll come get the drips off the table, just a tiny bit, and I'll work that little bit of epoxy into the vein.
I like that.
And it just helps it move and give some really neat looks too.
That's a cool Rhonda tip.
All right, so we got nutmeg coming on in here.
I'm using my white.
And since this is my main vein here, I'll put more color into that, and then I may run it out, and it's not quite so heavy. This is my main focal vein, and the rest of it is kind of a secondary vein, so my colors aren't as maybe as thick and as vivid. I'm going to add in a little bit of this champagne bronze.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah, I love that color. Oh, yeah. And like she said, that metallic is going to react a little differently, so it's going to have a tendency to kind of want to stay on top.
Here's your white.
And I've also, sometimes I'll take, in my vein, I may make one end of my vein a little denser, then just barely have a little bit of that color in the top of my vein. Awesome.
And then I come back in when I'm done and I've used everything that I wanted. I usually come back in with my black, especially around the edges of the vein, because it seems to like keep it in line. So that way it doesn't go too far out.
You're almost like kind of
bordering it.
Bordering it, yes.
Yeah.
Bordering.
Right.
Is that black?
Yeah. And it doesn't necessarily stay there, but it just keeps it a little bit in line.
Keep it between the lines.
That's right. Doesn't always listen, but
no.
You can try.
I'm just going to put a tick of white in mine.
It's crazy how white looks.
It's like crazy.
Yeah. I like using that dirt idea.
Did it come back in there?
Yeah. I've never done that. Learned something new today.
Well, if we're not learning every day at least one thing,
I'm living a boring life.
That's right.
All right.
Okay.
So now we're going to take our heat gun, and we can come back in and add some more later, but we're going to take our heat guns, and we still have, I know I have a little of epoxy left too.
Yeah, I do.
So if we need to add in, we can.
Yep.
And you're going to start it up, and you're going to blend in your veins, start to work them out without breaking them apart too much. But you really get to decide. Do you want it to be bigger? Do you want it, to be smaller? And how much heat you apply will actually depend or change the look of it. So you'll see how we do that. And then we'll also blend the inside. Okay. Right.
Using your heat gun almost like a paintbrush and just manipulating that vein. If you want a wide vein, if you want a thin vein, that's where your artistic creativity kind of comes in.
And then what I like to do after I kind of get it going, I'll tilt the board as well.
Yeah.
So this all starts to flow together really well. Now if you move your heat gun too fast or shake it too much, you're going to get a lot of squiggles, which is fine if that's what you're going for.
Oh, I love these colors together. Absolutely. Very pretty. Now I'm going to come in and kind of marbleize my white and my pearl. So I'm kind of softening those colors.
That's where all those little tick marks that you put from your stick start to work its way into the piece.
Yes. Pretty. There, I like that. Ooh, yeah. Ooh-wee. I love it so much. The black in here really makes this super distinct. I love that. Yeah.
And then I'll tilt it a little bit just to get some general movement.
A little more natural. Sometimes when you move those veins, it really makes it look like nature.
Right.
And I tell you what, I've built countertops that maybe 8 foot long, and we're still tilting them. Just takes a little more manpower.
All right. Get some helpers.
Now, you would not want to tilt this if you know that your the actual project that you're going to do, maybe it's on an existing piece of furniture or an existing countertop where you know for sure you cannot tilt it. don't tilt your sample.
Right.
Because you want to be able to recreate this. Also, if you're doing a sample for another project, make sure you film yourself so that you can see the steps that you did.
Right.
All right. I'm really loving these colors. Man, it's just, I wanted a very, very soft piece. And she has got some wild, beautiful contrasting. Her vein is amazing. I love that. So,
which it looks so different on a big long piece, you know?
You'll really just get, exactly.
Say you don't want another vein there. You can actually start to work that in and make it flow off your board a little bit. Open it up so it becomes more of a corner. Right? And the colors are still there. Right? So you can see that would have been still cut from the same piece of stone, but it's just a small little accent.
Oh, wow, that's pretty. Just that little bit of nutmeg that I brought in. Nutmeg is a very neutral color if you're trying to bring in those earth tones.
I like it.
Oh, yeah. Ah, yes, that's exactly what I wanted, with that little bit of pop of color right there.
And now, like, I didn't want maybe such a dark section over here. I can take some of my leftover epoxy. I have some in pearl, right? And I can start to add a little bit and blend it to soften.
I think I'm going to add more black. Where's black?
Right. Here? The way that the black reacts with epoxy is just my favorite. That was pretty cool.
And I'm going to kind of wake up some of my metallic over here and push it back into my vein. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted. I wanted just a little bit more.
Oh, that's cool. I love that soft, how the softness comes back
to it.
Oh, but I love that individual single little black line.
That's what I'm trying not to lose.
Right.
There we go. That's what I wanted. Okay, so now I'm going to wake some of this mica powder that I have over in the corner. I'm going to wake it up just a little bit, move it around. There's thinking. I'm done.
You could even take your black spray paint and add it to any other leftover epoxy if you wanted to do individual.
Absolutely. And when you add color into epoxy, and then you add that epoxy onto your board, because you're adding the color into epoxy, and epoxy likes to self-level. If you put a vein, it's going to really move a lot more than if you just put paint on your stick and run it through there. By adding the epoxy, you're adding more product to the top, so therefore it's going to run out a little more.
This one's mixed with pearl, so it's a little bit different. But it's been here for a little while setting up, so we could even run it through. Why not?
Sure, let's see.
We can run it through here. So now if I just run that right in my vein, so now it dripped, I can put that in there. If I want to put it over here, let's say.
Oh yeah. I do like to do that a lot. I do like to have, because a lot of natural stone will have fault lines. And if you do it early enough in your pour, those fault lines will eventually just move, and then you can barely see them. I'm going to actually take my own advice, and I'm going to stop. So now you could come in here with alcohol. You can do all kind of things and play with this and get some, neat movements. In fact, could you hand me the clear? Sure. This is a clear alcohol. And I just want to put a tiny bit. I don't want to mess with my veins, but I do want to have some neat kind of texture, I guess. Now, knowing this is not going to stay like this because it's going to keep moving, but this alcohol over these metallics will cause some really neat. But I don't, like I said, I don't want to get into my vein too much. That one got in there a little bit, but that's okay. Yeah, it may look really cool. All right, so I think that's going to look really neat here. Yeah. Okay, so very fun, very easy, very recreatable finish.
So to recap what we did, we started with our white metallic from Stone Coat, mixing our epoxy out, as well as the pearl metallic. I added some deep silver metallic on mine for more of a gray version of the same application. And then we went ahead and started with some aluminum, mixed in our epoxy to start our veins nice and light, and ran with a stick all of our different colors. So we had multiple colors of gray, black, white, some nutmeg, some champagne bronze, depending on what kind of color accents you want. And we made sure not to over blend, but we did blend with our heat gun to mix and meld and get it a little bit more natural. Continue to drag it into your veins, all the different colors you want, and just heat it up with a heat gun. Move it around till you're happy.
That's it. If you like what you see, give us a thumbs up, hit the bell for notifications, and leave us a comment. We love hearing from you guys. So until next time, Stacy, you got this.